of I also don't actually work much. I have a lot of time in which I can be creative and do what I want to do. And the reason for that is, again, the problem is the solution. I live in a really poor country. I live in Bulgaria. But I also have access and connections in richer countries like Scandinavia and Germany and France and Belgium and Holland and England. So I actually go back and forth quite often. Maybe I don't really stay very long in Western Europe, maybe like a week or so, but I end up organizing enough things to kind of go back to Bulgaria and get by for a longer period of time. This gets quite tiring, so it's not part of my long-term vision of how I want to sustain myself. And now I'm making steps to make my life more sustainable, staying in Bulgaria more. But the problem with that is that it's really low economically poor country. It's on the upside, it's really cheap, but on the downside, this is kind of a pattern that I kind of have to follow. I can't really swim against the stream. I have to kind of do what all the other gastarbiters do, which is, even like I don't know. So, but thinking of it that way, I guess I've cut my costs enough. I can live with much less, and I don't really need to make a lot of money. But on the other hand, this is also related to money, but also kind of separate. It has very little to do with me. A lot of people that want to get into a permaculture livelihood, they fear money. They don't want to talk about money. They don't want to, can we do this without money, that kind of thing. And that's actually not realistic. And it's not fair. It's not part of the fair share ethic of permaculture. And I think that's something that permaculture people really need to remember, is money in itself is not evil. It's not something that, it just can't be an end and means in itself. It's only a transitional phase from one thing to another. And if you actually think about it, it's very permaculture, because it allows one item to get out of its form and symbolically turn into a bunch of pieces of paper or a bunch of numbers in the computer, and then they manifest to this other physical item. I think only Jesus could do that, turn water into wine. Like money and Jesus, those are the two things that can turn water into wine. Money can turn water into wine. What? You sell some water and you buy some wine. That's pretty magical. And so I think that's also one of my strategies as a permaculture designer, is you really have to stick to your principles of fair share and not be afraid to negotiate a fair pay. And stick to your principles, because sometimes I do get some sort of hell, why are you so strict about this fee, can't we negotiate it or something like that? And I'm just listen, it's part of fair share. If I was really that money oriented, I'd be not working in permaculture. But Shakespeare's got to eat. You can't just it's about producing a yield. So I think that's something that I like to repeat it to people, because that's my personal perspective. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, great. Thanks.